So arithmetic is next. And in 1904, it actually would use slate. And slate is like a rock. And on the slate, I could write with plain old chalk, and you could see it. It works great. But we aren't using that right now in this classroom. We're going to use a chalkboard. And some places had chalkboards. In fact, most of the schools in 1904 did. But instead of having this black on here, we would have an actual piece of slate in here. And those can be cleaned with water, or we're going to pretend that this piece of paper is like our eraser. Or in 1904, a lot of them would just use their sleeve too. But today, we're going to use this little paper for our eraser. Now, if you are teaching in a classroom and you don't have access to all of these little blackboards, we were thinking you could possibly use whiteboards, or maybe even have little scraps of paper. And the reason you want to have many scraps of paper is because we're going to erase and keep using the same thing over and over to show our answers. But in 1904, we have to singly show our answer and then start over and do the next problem. So we need something that we can keep changing real quickly. So if you can think of something in your classroom, or if you have other ideas that will work, and you'll see what we're going to do in just a minute. That will give you a clue. Okay, so, and you'll also be given math problems ahead of time. What we usually do is start very simple and then keep building up and building up. This is a new experience for them. They haven't used the chalkboards before, so they're first figuring out what to do, and then after that, some of the problems will get harder. Also, boys and girls, what you're gonna do is after you write the answer on, and I see Eleanor is writing on her board, so I'm gonna use her board to show you. Pretend this was an answer to a question. She's gonna hold it up and hold it over her head. And that's so that all the other people in the room cannot see her answer. And this way, they will, I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna say yes, or no, or good, or try again. No and try again mean you didn't get it right. Yes or good means you did it, erase it, and wait for the next answer, or the next question. Okay, ready? We're going to start with a very, very simple one first. All you have to do is write this number, 20,043. 20,043. Try again. Good, yes. Okay, addition. What is 7 plus 6? Very good. 2. Excellent. Erase your board. What is 9 plus 23? Excellent. Very good. We did subtraction. We're going to go on to multiplication. Then we do division. After that, our story problems. The first one I love to do is grandmother collected 29 eggs from her chickens. She accidentally broke 4 eggs. How many are left? It's a good, easy problem. The trick is if they write eggs behind it or not. So if they don't write the word because it's a story problem, I can catch them on that so they know that the rest of the problems they have to write something. So I always do that problem first just because I know that they're usually going to get the right answer and they have to write the word eggs, because if they don't write the word eggs, I'm going to say no. And usually I can walk around the room and say everybody got it wrong and they all know that they've got the right number, so they can't figure out what was wrong. Then we go on. This is my last problem I read, and I'll explain to you why. Mother churned 11 pounds of butter. The dairy said that they would buy 15 pounds of butter from Mother. How many pounds of butter did Mother have left to churn? And I'll read it again. Mother churned 11 pounds of butter, so she already has that. The dairy said that they would buy 15 pounds. Mother doesn't have 15 pounds. How many pounds of butter did Mother have left to churn? And when it's getting close to the end, they get much better at, giving the answer. And the reason I make that my last one, I tell them, go ahead, put your stuff away. And I walk over here and I will get a glass jar. I have a small little quart canning jar. I have learned not to use plastic because it leaks every single time, no matter what I've done. I'm not sure why that doesn't connect right. But with the mason jar, I pour in 1 pint of heavy whipping cream. And that heavy whipping cream is less than $1 usually over at Walmart. And I tell him, Farmer Joe, remember him who let us get the water from the pump up the hill? Well, when I was walking to school this morning, he said I could have some cream to give you guys a surprise. And this whipping cream that he gave me is going to make butter. You guys want butter later? Your very own homemade butter. You're going to get your butter. So then I pour it into the jar, put the cap on tight, tell them they cannot take the cap off for any reason whatsoever. Everybody gets a turn to shake it, and it has to be shaken the whole time because it takes a long time to make butter. If you don't keep shaking it, it's not going to be done by the end of the school day. So we're busy shaking our butter, and then next is recess. That's the hardest time to make everybody take their turn shaking butter is during recess. So we're shaking and shaking. The butter, the whipping cream itself will get pretty solid. I don't stop right there, although they say you can, and go ahead and use it. I have them keep shaking. It'll get just as loose as it was as when you first poured in. It solidifies a second time, and that's the time I actually use it. It's easier to spread because it's a little bit thicker, and I check, number one, if we have any dairy allergies, then if we have any gluten allergies, and I have brought soda crackers from home, and I walk around, they all get 4 soda crackers. Every now and then there will be a child who doesn't want any. That's okay, you don't have to test what you made. The nice thing about it is we talk about the fact that we don't put any salt in our butter. We don't put anything else in our butter. This is about as pure and most best butter you can get. This doesn't have all the stuff they put in the stores. And you made it yourself. You can put it in little molds and you can serve it to everybody in the house with their meal. They could have a little tiny plate like a saucer with their own little butter on it. And it will get really hard if you put it in the refrigerator. Using it here at the Little Red Schoolhouse, I have the ability to put it outside the door, and it's usually cold enough when we're in season that it will get a little bit more solid after they've even shaken it, and it makes it easier to spread.